What up, players? It's Warboss Tay up in this mug. Today I'm going to teach you how to paint Scout Fatigues. This is a color that I'm using for my Raven Guard Scouts, so any model that has black armor, you'll notice that the color is a sort of grayish brown. So I'm using black as a primer, and that's going to be the start. You want to have a nice dark color to build up from. This would not work if you spray prime your models with white. So start with a nice black. It's going to keep the shadows in the recesses, and you only need two colors, Skaven Blight Dinge and Storm Vermin Fur. They're both a combination of grays and browns that are going to build up lighter and very closely match the old Caradon Granite color, which I think is one of the best colors of the old Games Workshop range. So using a brush, you're going to thin down the paint on a wet palette. That'll make it flow easier and not clump up and give you a thick looking finish. Then you only want to paint in the fatigues for these scouts. Now specifically I'm using this for scout armor, but if you like the look of this you could use it for other cloth in different armies like your Cities of Sigmar or your dwarves. It's a very nice unobtrusive color. It's not going to stick out and be too garish on the eyes, and like I said, it's going to match really well with black armor. Now I'm only picking out the cloth areas, and don't worry if you make any mistakes. You paint over some of those straps or the armor pieces. All of that can be painted over. The reason why I'm doing this first on the miniature is because usually the fatigues, the clothes, they're the lowest level of the lowest layer on the model. So there's skin underneath, but maybe on the top you've got armor and belts and pouches and all sorts of stuff. So all of that stuff can be painted over once you're actually painting those elements. The cloth, the clothes and the fatigues are usually what you paint first. The only thing I would paint first before this would be skin, but because there's not too much skin on this model, I'm going to be going with the fatigues. You can dot those little areas under the torso armor here on the back, above the belt, right under the torso armor in the back. It's not necessary, but like I said, because this is the first layer and I'm going to be painting over the straps, the belts, and the grenades anyways, I thought I might as well stab my brush in there. Now, if you assembly line paint your miniatures, then by the time you get back to this first one, it'll be dry. And that's what I did. I painted the other 9 scouts, and I'm coming back to this first miniature, and that first color is dried. So now we're going to follow that up with Storm Vermin Fur, and you want to paint this on the upper raised areas. You want that other darker color to still be visible in the lower areas. And this is why we base and we prime our models in black, because those deepest, darkest lines are going to stay black between the armor, where the armor meets the cloth. And then you're going to be seeing a buildup of those colors, the dark brown and grays. These scout miniatures from Kill Team, the Scout Squad, are really well sculpted, in that you can see a lot of the folds right behind the knee where the cloth would naturally fold if the model is in motion. Right by the groin area, up in the back where all that cake is. So paint those folds and make sure that you leave the recessed areas a little bit darker. Now it's also important that you use a brush with a fine tip at this point, because a lot of this cloth is going to be hidden or covered and concealed. So if you have a really messy brush with a frayed tip, you're gonna have a hard time getting into these areas, like where the between the armor here and the gauntlet, or under the torso armor and above the belt. I'm gonna be linking the Scout Squad for Kill Team. If you like these miniatures, I think they're really nice and fun to paint, and you can transport them over to your Warhammer 40k games, use them as scouts. So I'm gonna link below in the description a Scout Squad you could pick up on Amazon and add them to your collection yourself. All right, there it is. That's usually the first step in painting these miniatures, is getting these fatigues done. So now we can move on to other areas of the miniature. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave me a comment before you go. See you in the next one. Latest, players!